All right, guys. We are live today. Sorry, man. Listen to my voice. I wish my voice sounded like this when I first woke up. You know? I'd be sounding like the most masculine person ever. Listen to this. Hello. Once I drink coffee, I guess it goes down a little bit. But, yeah. Wish my voice sounded like this. All right. Let me get some music up. Let me get some headphones up. What's up? What's up, guys? Good morning. Palantir looking great this morning. I'll take it. People said they liked my old music yesterday. I might keep trying to play that. Let's find these old songs. I gotta get these headphones hooked up. Yeah. Wait, Bob. So, let me click on your name. You know, like, my wife's side of the family has some Seegers in them. No death metal, no, not today. Pepsi earnings are already out this morning. Yeah, Pepsi already dropped. I'm cold, dude. My wife has it freaking freezing cold in the morning. Like, I wake up and it's Antarctica. It's Antarctica in my bedroom. You know? Yeah, so Disney investing in Epic Games. I don't see Pepsi earnings. They're out already, though. I'm pretty sure they're out. Palantir's still running up to almost $25 a share, which is crazy. Pepsi posted good outlook, 815 versus 814, or slightly good outlook, but they're gapping down to 170s. Revenue of 27.85. Good guidance, though. That's what's causing it. Sweden. It's not cold outside. Let me clarify. It's not cold outside. It's just freaking cold inside. My wife turned, like, okay, it's the middle of winter, and my wife has the AC on like 50 something, 60. It's just cold when I wake up. It's just normal. It's just cold. All right, revenue of 27.85 bill for Pepsi. They expected. Pepsi expected. What do they expect? 28.41 bill. So missed revenue. I don't see EPS anywhere though. Oh, EPS of 94 cents. 94-cent EPS versus $1.72 estimates. That's why they're gapping down. All right, so Pepsi had good guidance, bad EPS, bad revenue. That's basically what happened here. All right, so Pepsi out. We have CGC dropping. I'm trying to see what time they drop. CGC scheduled to drop at 7:30. So we still got an hour. Alright, we'll wake it up. What's up, Luke? Mush says in a few months I will discontinue my phone number and only use X. All right, ARM dropped numbers yesterday or the day before. It just flew up, man. Get Baba Floss today. Baba's up a little bit today. be better. Palantir looks really good. I'm in Palantir. Let's see if that keeps riding. This portfolio I have is actually pretty nice. Like, pretty nice right now. Pretty green. Like, we're very green on the year already. I think Citigroup corrected a lot as well. Let me see. No, Citigroup's about the same. Yeah, but Pepsi's out. Cannabis growth is gonna. All right, guys. So, sorry, I'm just now catching up on some of these messages. Palantir hit $25 yesterday. $25. Still trying to make runs. All right, later, Philip. All right, so is NASDAQ sell? I don't know. I'm long short, but weekly expirations tend to swing wildly in either direction. 0 day to expiry is life. Not for me, bro. I'm not doing 0 day to expiry, man. Wait, isn't the benefit of 0 DTE options that you can that there's no PDT rule around them? Can't you day trade those with instant settlement? Is that right? I don't know if that's right or not. I think it's right. I might be wrong. Oh, dude, I'm tired. We also have the seasonal adjustment to CPI today. It's not really a big release. I got kind of beat up in jiu-jitsu yesterday, man. Like, I got a black eye again. It's about like third black eye in the last 6 months, dude. And it wasn't even like during rolling or anything. It was during drilling. Like during drilling, we were doing these drills where, like, if you're on the bottom and somebody has a really deep side control, right? And so you've got your arms basically locked to the left and right side, and they have their knees really high close to your chest, right? There's nothing you can do in that situation to get out of it if you don't know how. So you're basically stuck and you just get smothered, and it's just a miserable position. And so the way you get out of it, what we were taught at least yesterday, was that you bridge, which means that you like push up off the ground and you go like this with your hands, and then you rub it back into their face. Like you go like this, you bridge, and then you pull your hand back and like grind it on the person's face, you know? And then you bridge the other way and grind it on their person and get your frames back. Anyways, we were drilling that yesterday, and somebody's gi literally just went on my face. You know, I didn't even realize it was hurt until the person at the gym that did it was like, "Hey, man, I think I got you. My bad, dude." And I was like, "Yeah." I was like, what? And he was like, "You're bleeding a little bit." I was like, "I'm bleeding." He's like, "Yeah." And so now I've got like a black eye. I've got like a scratch right here, you know. Toughest looking person in the world right now. Palantir up to 25, so we'll see what happens. Okay, gotcha. It's the time to sell NASDAQ. It's the time to sell your car, house, and property and use the proceeds to invest in NASDAQ. Oh, it's not the time to sell NASDAQ. I don't know, bro. I wouldn't be telling people to buy the NASDAQ right now. Again, I think when you look at the long-term chart of the NASDAQ, it might be time for a pullback, at least to like 400 on the NASDAQ, on the QQQ. So I think it might be time for like the NASDAQ 100 to pull back a little bit. It just might be time. Like it's been a big run up. If we look at the QQQ, which is the NASDAQ 100, you know, I think it might be time to make this kind of dip right here. I might be wrong, but like we've ripped over this $400 level. I think it might be time to do something like this and then continue or do whatever. But I guess it depends on what time frame you're talking about. But for me personally, I'm skeptical of buying the NASDAQ right now. And this is somebody that is up really, really nice, holding positions right now. Like I'm in a bunch of positions. You know, I think I'm going to take a little bit off of Amex. I'm in Amex right now. I think I have to. Oh, wait, I can't. I got to wait. Okay, I'll wait. Remind me to do that when after 1 o'clock hits. I might also get out of my SPY position that I've been in for freaking... I bought the SPY with... I've got like one share, I think, of the SPY, and that one share has made me hundreds of... Or those, I've had a couple shares. I've had this share since October. And this one share has made me like $100. Snapchat. We're in Snap. We're slightly red in Snap, but we're kind of flat there. We're in RTX as well. I wonder if it's time to take a little profit in RTX. I'm going to keep holding Palantir. Nike. We're also in Microsoft. Because, like, and again, I'm not trying to sell these for the end, like, never to buy them again, but I think it could be time to sell some of these, liquidate some of this portfolio, and then just add back if we do start to get pullbacks, which I do think is going to happen. I don't think we can sustain this type of price action, but I mean, it doesn't really matter what I think, because the market can do whatever it freaking wants. So, you know, that's kind of things that I'm considering right now. We're in BABA, we're in Boeing, and we're green on Boeing as well. Who knows what Boeing is going to do, although it's a small position there. We're in Amex, nicely green. Our average price on Amex right now is $144.11. It's at $211. So we are, percentage-wise, we are up over 35% in Amex. Over 35% gains. So we're up like $60-something a share. And so it's probably time to take some profit there, I would say. Especially with banks and potential weakness. We're in Google at 125. I think I'm just going to sit on Google. I think that's an easier hold. But I don't know what we could do. Market could run up to, but realistically, everyone is FOMOing in right now and wanting well. Yeah, again, I tend to be, like, again, I'm bullish, of course. You guys know I'm bullish. So what you're saying is always be careful if someone's gi in your face or eyes. Kind of. Kind of. What I'm saying is that when you're drilling, side control escapes from the bottom or from the top, and you're the person meant to hold him there in side control. When he starts to frame out of it, put your head down is what I'm saying. That's the mistake I made, is that when he started to frame out of it, I just kind of kept my face right there, you know, and let him grind his hand all over it. And so, you know, what I'm saying is that if you're drilling side control on the bottom or on the top, and the person on the bottom's drilling escapes, put your head down. Do not just keep your face wide right there. The dude's super nice. Like, he didn't mean to do it. I'm pretty sure. He didn't mean to do it. He's a pretty nice guy. He's like a purple belt. Pretty nice dude. I've been learning anaconda chokes a lot. That's what I've been drilling every day when I can choose any sub to drill. I've been mostly drilling triangles and anaconda chokes. I wanted to learn Darce chokes, but those are much more difficult. And like Darces, you have to go from the other side through the armpit and then out by the neck, and it's just a lot harder to get that grip or get that position. But I might drill those too. I don't know. Anyways, I'm not gonna keep talking. You need to spar Zuckerberg, dude. Zuckerberg, I'm a spazzy white belt. I'm not that good, you know. I think I'm good, but like the reality slaps me in the face that I'm probably not that good. Mark Zuckerberg would probably beat me up, realistically. You know, Mark Zuckerberg's probably training with a bunch of Gracies somewhere. You know, I don't want to mess with Mark. I know he's training with Volkanovski. Mark would probably beat everybody up in here. All right. They don't really call it a dojo. I don't know if they do or not. That's mostly like karate, you know. Karate's cool, but like, I don't know. The thing I like about jiu-jitsu is that it's based off of skill, you know. And like karate, you could have anybody in there. Within a few years, they're going to have a black belt. If they keep going and keep paying the instructor, within a few years, they're going to have a black belt, right? In jiu-jitsu, it's just not the same thing. In jiu-jitsu, you might go there for years and still have a white belt, you know? So it's not the same thing. You actually have to work a lot harder. It's not just freely given out just so you can... I mean, in some gyms, I'm sure it is, I guess, but... Oh, bro, Zuckerberg is going to beat all of us up. Hey, thank you, Philip. Thanks, bro. Hey, thank you, Philip. I would get beat up by a potato. Hey, what's up, man? Thanks, you. And any specific trade today? Not yet. We got Pepsi earnings. CGC earnings dropped today. I don't know when they're going to come out. If you don't know what CGC is a cannabis company. So CGC is a cannabis company. Again, I'm very skeptical of the cannabis market. I'm very pro legalization. I'm very pro legalization. But I'm skeptical of when it's actually going to happen, because I think that one of the things that law enforcement, and again, I support all, people hear me say this and they think I'm just super anti-law enforcement. I support good cops if they're good cops, right? Like if they're good cops, I support them. The problem is that there's a bunch of cops that aren't good cops. And I don't think giving a blanket statement just saying they're all good and they're all heroes like they are is not accurate, you know? Like, I don't think putting out a blanket statement saying all cops are heroes. No, they're not. Some of them are terrible, terrible people. Just like anything, you got bad eggs and everything. And so I think you need to bring that to light. And I think it'll make the good cops look better when the bad cops are called out. And I think it'll raise the standard up higher. But I think you have to criticize them. I don't think you should do this thing. The problem is that we're all brothers. You know, you can't criticize any of us. It's like, no, that's a terrible mentality. That's just gonna breed corruption if it's like that, you know, and that's very obvious and self-evident. You know what I mean? And anyways, back to cannabis. Cannabis should be legalized. You know, it should be legalized and taxed. I'm a business person. It should be legalized and taxed. You know, people say, oh, well, what about legalizing another drug on the street? You know. There's so many drugs that are already legal, and it's about having an even standard. But who knows when it's actually going to happen, and I don't know what that looks like. Cannabis Growth Company, CGC, used to be $300 a share. You know, now it's $4. And I think people recognize the unlikely event of it getting legalized. You know, I think people recognize that it's just probably not going to get legalized anytime soon. It's not going to get federally it's not going to get descheduled anytime soon. Maybe it's scheduled lowered or whatever, but it's still going to stay scheduled. It's going to stay prohibited, and it's just, I don't know. It's just never going to happen. All my successful friends smoke. Yeah, I mean, cannabis, again, it's been so long, man. It's not really something that I do or anything like that. I'm very anxious as a person. I really am. Like, I'm anxious natured. I have a little bit of OCD, and cannabis never helped that, you know. It just never helped that. It wasn't something that helped me personally. But I'm not arguing that it won't help other people. You know, it just never really helped me. And so, but it's really interesting. So they've done studies, and like I said, I did a study back in college about this. And one of the things that, like, scientists have studied it, and one of the conclusions to those studies is that when you're your brain, so there's a few outcomes. Like one of the side effects of cannabis is that you have short-term memory loss. The reason you have short-term memory loss, they think, I'm going to preface it with they think, is because, you know, when you're not on it, when you're not consuming it, you know, when you're not high on it, basically, your brain's analyzing what's important. Like your brain's saying, is this important? Is this important? Is this important? So your brain's constantly analyzing your surrounding environment to try to classify what's important enough to store in memory locations in your brain, to store in your memory, and what's insignificant to where it doesn't need to store it, and it can eventually, I guess, fart it out in your dreams for whatever, or whatever happens. I don't know. But anyways, so your brain's constantly doing that. When you're on that, your brain does not do that. Not as much. Your brain always does it to a certain extent, but it doesn't do it as much, and that's what causes the short-term memory loss. But when your brain's not focusing on significant thoughts to store in memory locations, it allows it to wander more and thus be more creative. And that's one of the reasons that musicians, specifically writers, a lot of different artistic groups like Cannabis, is because they say, and again, I'm not claiming this is a certainty, they say it makes them more creative. It's one of the reasons writers, musicians, all these different groups of people like it, because they say it makes it more creative. And it would make sense logic-wise that if your brain has to focus less on what's important to store in your brain in memory locations, that it would allow it to possibly be more creative, right? And again, I don't know if this is true. This is what scientists have studied, and so it's interesting. I don't think a blanket statement on this, like drugs are bad, is the right move. I think man has created a lot of synthetic, man-made pharmaceuticals and medicines that are not very good for us. I think a lot of them cause terrible physical withdrawal symptoms. They cause terrible things. And a lot of the arguments against it are religious arguments, like, hey, they're bad, morally bad, or whatever. I would disagree to that to a certain extent. I think if there is a God, he probably gave us natural man-made, or natural, organically grown medicine that is much less harmful, much less toxic to the human body. And cannabis has been shown to reduce inflammation as well. So it reduces inflammation, which means that our ancient ancestors consumed it to a certain extent. We have cannabinoid receptors in our brain. And so I think when you consider all of that stuff, the fact that it's illegal is ridiculous. It's a dumb thing. And I think a lot of people are still holding on to, for lack of a better word, propaganda that's been fed regarding it for the last century or plus, Yeah, smoking anything's bad, though. Anyways, we got a couple minutes left until 7 a.m. All right, so we got a couple minutes left. Again, Palantir just under $25, just under $25. With that said, CGC hasn't dropped their earnings this morning. Pepsi at 170, Palantir at 25s, almost 25s. Why not talk about God? I mean, regardless of what I am, and I'm not going to go into that whatsoever, it's not very good for business, I'll say. It's one of those things that I try to keep this live stream very religiously neutral and politically neutral. And I think that's just good business. I think if you run a business, especially a business that has all different types of people in it, you can't really start pushing those things. The very famous saying is never argue about religion or politics. And so I don't think what I personally, again, and if I told you guys my actual beliefs, a lot of y'all would think it was crazy, to be honest. And so I would rather not delve into that. You know, it's a business, you know what I mean? Unlike Elon Musk, I'm not trying to go super controversial and political. You know, I would rather stay very neutral in that stuff, and I think that's the smart move over time. And not surprisingly, I'm actually very neutral in all of those things as well. All right, anyways. Yeah, I'm not gonna go into it. nvda is still sitting right at $700, so it didn't really go up much. Look at Palantir. Palantir tapping $25. Let's see if Palantir can break highs. Still waiting for CGC. All right, so Palantir just under the highs. Look at $25. $25.06 is the highs of yesterday. So let's see if we hold. I believe that House of Dragon is a very good Game of Thrones season that I would love for it to come out a little bit sooner than they're saying. Also, you know what a really good show is? 1933. Just a freaking good show, bro. Like, I'm ready for that to come out too. Problem is, there's the movie studios are getting greedy. There's years in between these seasons coming out. You see it with Stranger Things as well. Like, Stranger Things came out and my daughter was into it when she was like 10. She's now 14, and she's losing interest, and I think it's a mistake people are making. Like, she's losing interest in these shows. If Bitcoin closes above 46.95 thousand today, we close daily candle at its highest in the last 18 months or more bullish. Hey, thanks, brother. And, hey, Philip, so you run which crypto podcast / show? You run a crypto show, right? Yeah, so man, they had an interview with the Russian president. Yeah, I'm not going to talk about it. I think it's good that they have these type of interviews. You know, I think it's better that we have these type of things and you let people make up their mind. I mean, I'm obviously a capitalist. And so I talked about this, you know, yesterday. Somebody was like, you hate America. I don't hate America. I'm a capitalist. I think America is one of the greatest countries in the world. I think people try very hard to come here from all across the world. And they do that because we have a very high standard of living and because capitalism works to a certain extent. Yes, there's corruption. But there's corruption regardless of what type of thing you have. If you think there's not corruption in other type of systems, you know, communism certainly has corruption. And I mean, I think having communes works up to a certain point. Like, I think if you have a small amount of people, communes work. The problem is that as you get larger and larger, and as there becomes more and more people in these communes, they feel less part of a group. They feel like they're less part of something. And over time, that dilutes their interest in it. And what does it make them? It starts to make them more selfish, right? It starts to make them ultimately more selfish, which breeds corruption. That's a very self-evident thing. And so I think you might as well give the people who eventually get power, make them work for it. That's what capitalism does. Yes, there's eventually corruption, and yes, people get uneven amounts of power, but you make them work for it. I think that's the only thing that makes sense. At least the people that get power with capitalism, they have to freaking work for it. Unlike other forms where a lot of the time they're just blindly given it, or whatever it is. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, if I can give you any advice, Philip, any advice, bro. So do you run what's the channel? You can talk about it. If I can give you any advice, be careful with partners, bro. Like, listen, I know I've had good partners and bad partners, right? Just be careful. I at a certain point, I stopped giving equity to anybody because it causes too much problems, bro. People get resentful. They get all these, especially if it's something in which you own a majority of equity in something. Like if you own a majority of equity in something, it's going to make the person with the less equity get weird most of the time, especially if y'all start to make money. You know, despite how much people want to, work together, some people just get weird. Businesses are hard is the easiest way to put it. When you're first growing something, it's very difficult. It's very stressful. And you're putting a lot of work in, and a lot of the time you're not getting much in return. Like even this YouTube channel, before this YouTube channel started making money, I worked for years building this thing up. Like the way I started this channel in 2016. I started this channel, uploaded like 10 or 15 videos, and then stopped uploading completely when I destroyed my account for a year or more, I think. Finally came back in like 2017, 2018, and I started live streaming. And the only reason I came back was because while I was gone, I started to grow a couple hundred subscribers while I stopped. And I would get the notifications like, hey, you gained a subscriber. Hey, you gained a subscriber. And so I'm like, okay, cool, great. I'm growing some subs, right? That's ultimately what made me come back. And I still had kind of an itch to trade the market, but for years and years, as I grew this channel, I earned nothing. I made nothing. I didn't get anything. We had no success. We barely got any views, and I had to kind of experiment around, and it was a lot of work, right? And I could only imagine if I had a partner at that time, it would have just, I don't know if this would have ever worked if I had a partner at that time. And so it really is something where partners are tricky, especially in something like this, because in something like this, what breeds resentment is working a lot for little, And so in something like this, in the beginning, you have to work a lot. It takes a long time to show results, and resentment can just, it can just grow, and, you just got to be careful. John, beginner trading, what do you think about profit sharing with someone who helps increase subs revenue without any equity? It depends on where you are, I mean, I don't know if I'm ever going to do that here, Beach Bum, you know what I mean? Just because, it just, For me, it has to do with, separating myself from other channels. I've had people come around and try to offer me money to buy my channel outright. And it was never something that I was interested in. They said I could keep 5%, but I'm pretty sure they were just going to take me and consolidate it with one of their other channels, and so I wouldn't have owned anything. I'm pretty sure if I would have went through with it. It just wasn't enough. At this point in time, we make very good money now. We earn, I'm not going to be specific, but we earn very good money.
now, is all I'll say. I'm not going to be specific. And so for somebody to buy this channel now, they would have to come, like, we'd have to get a really good offer. I told Kara I'd sell it for like $1 million right now. Maybe $1 million. I would sell it if there was only like a short non-compete duration. Like if there was like a year non-compete, I'd sell it for $1 million, and then after a year maybe try to come back or whatever. Social Blade's actually very off with how much they say you earn. Like Social Blade is super low for how much they say, especially with finance channels, Blaze. So like finance channels specifically have a big edge because you don't need, like, a lot of people look at like Logan Paul and they see Logan Paul and all these other people getting millions and millions of views or whatever, and they think that a channel like mine isn't earning anything, and that's the opposite. Like the finance niche, you got to think about how valuable your viewers are to everybody else, right? So in finance, your viewers are much more valuable. Advertisers like finance channels more because they recognize that like their viewers are ready investors, and so you have to think about it in terms of the sector you're in. And with finance, it's just much better than just base entertainment channels, you know. No, that wasn't me, Blaze. What bill? Pawn. Yeah, all good, Beach Bomb. No worries, brother. I just think it's very difficult. I think it's very tempting in the beginning to take on a partner, but it's the last thing you want to do. Especially if it's like your baby and you've grown it and you've built it. Like, you're going to want to control it. If you can't control it, you're going to be struggling. Even if you have to share control with somebody else, that can be a hard thing. I'm not very good at that. I don't like sharing decision making with anybody else, you know. All right, Palantir's starting to dip down. We're still waiting on CGC. Yeah, but I don't think that was for me, Blaze. I don't think that was me that was showing that. That must have been somebody else. I think building something is way more important than money. I'm very happy things are going well for you. Selling it would have you regret it. Yeah, for sure. I mean, building things are important, you know, regardless of the money. It's not about, like I said, it's not really about money. It's about decision making. And again, every situation is different and people are different. And so I'm not knocking anybody else that does something different than me. Yeah, and that's the way to do it in the beginning, Philip, for sure. In the beginning, you don't want to think about money at all. You just want to think about growth, 100%. Kind of like if you ever watched The Social Network with about Mark Zuckerberg and how he grew Facebook. You know, he had his CFO, Eduardo, who funded the operation. You know, of course, Eduardo funded it, so he wanted to make his money back, and so he's trying at every turn to monetize and add ads and stuff like that. And one of the genius parts of Mark was that Mark recognized that it wasn't time to dilute the site with ads. And the famous quote, I think it went something like, "We want Facebook to be cool, and ads are not cool." You know, and he's right. You know, so if they would have advertised too early on, you know, it would have diluted the site. And I think that's where a lot of sites get wrong, is that if you try to market too early, you got to focus on building a base first. You know, if you're trying to monetize it too early, you're making a mistake. You need to grow a decent base first. I'll tell you this. Here's the easiest example. Every time I plug anything on this live stream, every time I plug anything, I lose viewership. Right? People leave, you know, and that's a normal reaction for anybody, anywhere on YouTube. Anytime you plug anything, people leave. A small percentage of people. And so you have to be strategic with it. You can't just, you know, plug for 5 minutes and expect people to stay there. Hey, what's up, Corey? Oh, for sure. People need meaning in their life, Philip, for sure. When you get older, you start to forget that through like children. But certainly, I'm a builder. I like building stuff. I always have been. All right, guys. So Pepsi earnings are out. It's down to 170. Huge miss on EPS. Slight miss on revenue. Slightly better guidance than expected. And so Pepsi is down, but it's not down too much. We still have CGC, Cannabis growth. We're watching Palantir. Palantir trying to make moves up there. Yeah, but wouldn't the GAP one be the most important one? You know, GAP stands for Generally Accepted Accounting Principles, just for everybody at home. I would argue that. Oh, you're right though. Actually, you are actually correct. DM. So you were actually correct. Let me fix that on screen. So adjusted EPS is 178. So it is a beat. So here we go. So you're right, it is a beat. I stand corrected. I was wrong. You were right. My apologies, sir. Hey, what's up, Freddie? Hope Pepsi drops today so I can get some more. Yeah, and crypto. Is it a crypto podcast, Philip? I'm assuming it is, right? Looking at your username on Discord. Yeah, listen, I've made a lot of money in crypto, or as a crypto affiliate, right? What I would say is this, okay, and I'll tell you how to talk like how to make money in running a crypto channel. All right, and here I'll tell you off stream. All right. So again, nvda dipping down to 698. Yeah, for sure. Do you think NVIDIA is overbought like the majority thinks? Yes. Yes, I do. I might be wrong, though. Who knows? But I think NVIDIA is probably arguably overpriced. When will CPI adjustment be released? 8:30 is when it's scheduled to release. It's not the actual CPI. It's just what CPI adjustment is it looks back at the last, I think it's like 5 years. It's going to look back at the last 5 years CPI and adjust anything that needs to be adjusted over the last 5 years. It will do that. And so this is very relevant for all the people that are saying they have fake numbers or whatever it is. This is very relevant in that regard, because if for whatever reason the numbers were wrong over the last 5 years, this CPI should adjust it. And again, we'll see. We'll see. It'll be relevant for markets, I would say, but who knows? What do you predict for CPI? This is a seasonal adjustment. Next week we have CPI. So next week is when we have that stuff. And again, I don't know what we're going to get for it. We got CPI revisional factors today. Tuesday of next week is CPI. That's a big release. Expectations are 0.3%. I'm not going to make my guess yet. But we'll see. All right, guys. Palantir is still trying to make moves. Still trying to head up. I need to go to the freaking chiropractor, dude. Dude, I have like my hip muscles hurt. All right, team. All right, Palantir's still trying to make a move. Nvidia's still trying to come back up here. We're still waiting for CGC. CGC is technically scheduled for release for their earnings at 7:30. So we got 8 minutes for CGC. Let's see what CGC shows up as. 8 minutes for CGC. We'll see. Isn't the market always bullish on Friday? No. I wish it was, but no, it's not. It's the new thing called age. Oh, it certainly probably is. It's probably top 3 oldest people in the world right now. Here, I'm going to go ahead and take a little bit off of Amex just because I was planning to do this, and so I need to do it now. Okay, they're not going to give me a good fill. There we go. I'll just take the medium fill. All right, so we sold half of that position. What was the other one I said I was going to scale out of? We're still in Disney. Looks good. We're in Delta Airline. That looks good. We're in Citigroup. We're not going to take any off of that. We don't need to. Amex, we just took half off there. Boeing, we're in Boeing, but kind of flat. We're in Apple. I think I'm just going to leave that one alone. We're in Coca-Cola. MGM. Does MGM pay a divvy? Let me see. No. No divvy for MGM. Right? Yeah, they got rid of their divvy in 2022. With that said, I'm going to take some profit off of that one then. I'm already in it. It's up a lot. We'll take off. Our average price in MGM is 39.40s. It's at almost 47. Take a little bit off here. Liquidate some of this position. All right, nicely green. What else do we want to mess with today? Tesla up again today. That's nice. Microsoft. I'm going to go and take some of my Microsoft trade off. All right. Took about half of Microsoft. What else we got? Baba. We're in Baba. I think we're just going to keep holding that one. Snapchat, we're down. I think I'm going to go ahead and take my SPY trade off, man. I've been in the SPY trade since October. I think I'm going to go ahead and cut it. Ooh, dude, the SPY is right under $500, though. I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait for this. NVIDIA ramping up. Palantir ramping up. Look at the SPY, though. SPY up to almost $500 here. Part of me wants to sell, but the other part of me understands that, like, we might make that $500 push. And if we're in that situation, I don't want to sell too early. I think I'm going to go ahead and cut out of RTX as well. Average price on RTX is 72.30s. I'm going to go ahead and cut that and get out of that one. Very nice trade there, too. We're in PayPal. I don't know what to do with PayPal. Part of me wants to add to it, but we're in Pfizer. We're down. We're in Oracle as well. Is it time to take off of Oracle? I don't think so. I think we're just going to stay in that one. We're in Nike. We're flat. MGM. We took some off already. Coca-Cola. I think they pay divvy soon. We'll stay in that. Honeywell. I think we're just going to sit in the rest. We're in Exxon. Actually, I'm going to take a little bit off of Exxon, too. Wait. Let me see when Exxon pays out divvies. Exxon pays $1 a share divvy, so hold on. Let me see. Okay, yeah, no. We're not holding enough to make $1 a share work. Or, like, worthwhile. It doesn't matter that much. So we'll take a little bit off of this. All right. Anything else? We're in SoFi. We're kind of flat on SoFi. SoFi's made another push. Tyson Foods, we're in that one. We're slightly green, but it's not a big trade. Walgreens, we're in that one. Slightly green. Walmart, we're in that one. I guess I'm just going to chill on the rest. NVIDIA's still pushing up, though. Where's my music? Why'd the music stop? Right, exactly, Pawn. I don't know what to do yet. S&P broke 5K for 4 seconds. Well, it'll definitely move over 5K, but who knows when is a different story. It's all that sitting. Yeah, I've actually heard that it's the sitting from this live stream. I need to raise my desk. What's going on with Lyft? Like, Lyft seems to be in a really struggling period of time. Like, Uber is gaining traction. Lyft is not. NVIDIA up to 701s. Seasonal adjusted CPI is going to be coming out, or adjustment to CPI is coming out at 8:30. It's not the actual CPI reading though; it's just an adjustment to it. Let's do a poll. I don't think we've done a poll yet. All right, so we got higher or lower than expected for CPI Tuesday. Vote on that poll. Uber's a household name. Yeah, it's one of those things that Lyft is a smaller company. I think Uber over time is gonna take market share away from Lyft. I might be wrong though. Is there any data today? Not really. There's CPI seasonal adjustment data, so they're just going to be adjusting the last 5 years of CPI data at 8:30, but that's about it. CGC is now up. They're scheduled to drop earnings in about a minute. They might have come out early. Let's see. CPI up to 417. Let's see. All right, CGC just dropped. They are out. I'm sorry, CGC's been out. They just didn't move. weird. All right, so CGC is out. They released at 7 o'clock this morning. They posted a third quarter loss per share of 262 Canadian, 278 EPS from continued operations, revenue of 78.5 Canadian. So they're out with their numbers. I'll put this number up in chat. They've been out. Again, they didn't really react at all to this though. So like, this is a company that just released earnings like 30 minutes ago. They didn't move at all from earnings. So either the rest of the market doesn't know, or nobody cares, I guess. Yeah, I mean, I think you got to think about it in this regard, right? Like for Lyft and Uber, and again, I think this is a very easy thing to see. So with Lyft and Uber, right? With Lyft, Uber's the movie. Uber's the company that has a movie made about it. Uber was the one that a lot of people would consider the OG, even though I would say Lyft has been around a little bit longer. But I think what that's going to do over time is Uber's the name brand. And I think with apps like this that all have very similar payment structures, I think the name brand is going to win over time. And so I think Uber is going to continue to gain market share over Lyft until maybe Lyft fails, maybe it buys out, maybe Uber buys Lyft later down the line is probably what I'm guessing happens. I'm all about Lyft, bro. I never use Uber in real life. Yeah, but I think you might be an outlier. Monopolies are illegal. Yeah, but that doesn't mean anything. Like, again, I don't think it has to do with the company themselves. I think it has to do with like this. I think people are going to say, hey, we need a ride. Why don't we call Uber? Because Uber's the name brand. And I think over time, that's going to take market share away from Lyft. You know, regardless, I'm not, of course, there's people that use only Lyft. Of course, you have Lyft fans and people that don't like Uber or whatever it is. But over time, I think that's going to happen more and more. And I think Lyft will probably still be around, but I think it's going to lose market share until it gets bought out by Uber. Is probably what's going to happen. Maybe not. I might be wrong. But I think that makes sense. What's up, Ricky, Dips, Floor, Phillip, Corey? What's up, Ricky? Same thing happened with MySpace. Yeah, I think, what happened to MySpace, I think MySpace's problem is that they didn't evolve. And if your business doesn't evolve, it dies. And so your business has to evolve. I think that's the main problem with MySpace, is that they came out and they never evolved. And when Facebook started to become big, a smart business person would have, for lack of a better word, copied what Facebook was doing on MySpace, since they had the user base, and then started replicating what they were doing and growing in that way. And instead, Tom just kind of stayed stagnant and didn't do anything. I mean, he ended up he just to put it into perspective, Tom from MySpace sold MySpace for like a little bit less than $600 million. And so Tom is a very, very wealthy man. I believe he sold it to, was it Yahoo or was it AOL? He sold it to somebody. Because I grew up in the heat of that. Like, I originally had MySpace. Again, top 7 was cutthroat. You know, if you had somebody in your top 7 and they didn't have you in their top 7, you know, huge diss to you. Huge drama. But yeah, so we had MySpace. Eventually, people started transitioning to Facebook. So they were on MySpace, everything was cool and fine, and then eventually certain people got Facebook. And then I think of FOMO, I think fear of missing out, fear of being left out, caused people saw the party going on over there at Facebook, and they felt lonely over there on MySpace. And so people started having both of them, where they had both a MySpace and a Facebook. And then eventually over time, because Facebook's UI was so much better than MySpace's, right? Eventually, everybody left MySpace, went to Facebook, and MySpace was bought out. That was like my age, you know. And then Instagram came out, very similar things, like all that stuff happened. Hey, what's up, my guy Mitch? Hey, the next Mark Z, bro. Mark Z's been training. Look at me, I got a black eye, Mitch. I've been training Brazilian Jiu-jitsu, brother. Let me make sure this is the real Mitch. Mitch is getting big nowadays. He might have fakes hanging out. Let me make sure you're the real Mitch. You are the real Mitch. I see the outcome trading stuff, bro. Hey, y'all go sub to my guy Mitch. Y'all go hit that subscribe button on this channel. So that's the real Mitch. I know it's the real Mitch because him and I did some old content like half a decade ago. But yeah, bro, check me out. I got a black eye. I'm looking really tough nowadays because I've been training Brazilian Jiu-jitsu. But yeah, those MySpace days were cutthroat, dude. Everybody, top 7, you know. Yeah, all good, brother. All good, bro. Like I said, you ever need to come on the show, dude, hop on the stream, man. We'll set it up. And oh, Mitch, you'll get guillotine coming with the quickness, bro. I train at one of the Gracie gyms. It's fun though, dude. You should really, if you don't do it, Mitch, and I'm not sure if you train, but if you don't, do it, bro. It is so much fun, man. It really is genuinely fun. It's like human chess is what it is. Like grappling is like human chess. Look at NVIDIA though, guys. NVIDIA ripping up. Cannabis growth, Mitch was around when Cannabis growth was hitting $300 a share. Freaking government needs to legalize. NVIDIA up at 703s. Ever use Iron Beam? Nah, never used it. YouTube needs to show user profiles when we click names. It does. If you're the owner of the channel, I can click on Mitch's name and click go to channel, and it'll show me what's on his channel. That's how I knew it was the real Mitch, is because I clicked on that and I saw outcome trading videos, and so I'm like, yep, that's Mitch, you know. I used to when I was like 25. I'm pretty good. Hey, let's do a match then, bro. Listen, we could do a match, and we can document it and put it on the internet, and it'll probably help both of us grow. Sounds like a business plan to me, you know. I gotta go to your state. I'm not gonna say where you live, but I wanted to go out to the casinos out there and try to get like a run of card counting in, and a blackjack run, going around state to state, getting, you know, making content about it. That was something I really wanted to do. Listen to this. I love it, dude. And John, I always said there would be another wave of cannabis is coming. I hope it does, bro. The problem here, dude, is that these freaking lobbyist groups, like the problem here is that you get lobbyist groups against cannabis. Like you get lobbyist groups, you get law, a lot of it is law enforcement, the prison industry, and pharmaceutical industries, right? They are the ones that are paying big money to have lobbyists shoot down and veto these bills that are coming out. Cannabis is objectively less harmful than alcohol, you know? And I'm for legalizing both of them. I'm for both of them being legal, But you got to have an even standard of legalization. You can't sell liquor at gas stations and then cry because of cannabis. It just doesn't make sense. They need to legalize it, tax it. I'm a business person. Legalize that stuff and tax it, man. That's what they need to do. Dude, Mark Zuckerberg will probably beat me up. I talked about this earlier. Mark surprisingly is good. If you watch videos of Mark training, he's good at both jiu-jitsu and Muay Thai. And so people pick on Mark because he's kind of nerdy, but like that dude would beat all of us up. What's up, Reclaim? Yeah, Coinbase is up to 142. Coinbase up to 141.50s. Here's Bitcoin base futures. Bitcoin almost up to 50K, so Bitcoin is making another run. We had kind of like a lagging effect from the spot ETFs. You can see the IBIT ETF starting to rip up too. It's up to 27s, so it's trying. Are you winning against Mark? Nah. Mark will mess me up, dude. You got to think about it. He's a billionaire, so you can only imagine who's actually training Mark Zuckerberg. He's probably got a bunch of Gracies training him at the same time, you know. In jiu-jitsu, the most dangerous moves, like the moves that you better tap, and like if you get caught in these moves and you don't tap, you can mess yourself up, are leg locks. Like ankle locks aren't that bad, but if you get in a heel hook, which is kind of like taking your heel and turning it the other way, you better tap. Because if you don't tap in that, your knee's going out. You know, you get caught in a knee bar and you don't tap, your knee's going out. You get caught in ankle locks are okay. Ankle locks you can kind of withhold tapping for a little while. It'll hurt terribly, but it's not going to cause any. I mean, I'm not going to say it might cause some stuff. I don't know. You know, a Kimura is another one of those moves where if you don't tap in a Kimura, your shoulder can pop out. There's a very famous video where Minotauro Nogueira, who's like this famous black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, was rolling with Frank Mir, like this American black belt in Jiu-Jitsu. He wasn't rolling, he was fighting him in the UFC, right? And black belts can be stubborn because they're black belts, right? But he's fighting Frank Mir, and Frank Mir gets him in a Kimura. And Nogueira rolls out of it, and then Frank follows him and rolls with him and continues to crank on that Kimura. Eventually, you can see the dude's arm, you can see Nogueira's arm just pop. You can see it's snap. He's eventually laying there like this with his arm out, and his arm is jacked up, dude. His arm is just limp. You know, you can see it's backwards. Very famous video. I don't recommend watching it on YouTube, but yeah, for sure. Okay, there's Bruce. Thanks, man. I'm looking into multiple brokers. Yeah, I've never used it. Zuckerberg is 10th Planet. 10th Planet. I don't know. I've seen Zuckerberg in a gi. 10th Planet is Eddie Bravo's group. 10th Planet is good, but they don't really train in a gi that much. It's mostly a no-gi gym. But I think some of them might train gi, I don't know. So I know it's not just 10th Planet that he's training with. I know I saw Zuckerberg training with like Volkanovski and a bunch of other people too. So he's not it's not one-dimensional. He's not just training with 10th Planet. I'm sure he's training with a number of different gyms. Another Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guy is Tom Hardy. Tom Hardy trains. He's like a blue or a purple belt, I think. Usually if you got it locked in quick, the tap comes. Oh, for sure, bro. Like, if you don't tap, I'm super flexible too, and so when people get me in a Kimura, a lot of the time I don't tap. But if it's in deep enough, I will. My favorite move is a guillotine, bro. Like, I trap people with guillotines a lot. And so I'll get them in like a collar tie, and I'll try to drag their head down and stuff takedowns until they shoot in. And then when they shoot in, I'll grab their neck and, guillotine them. Ralph Gracie. Okay, gotcha. My friend trains with Gabriel Gonzaga. I remember Gabriel. He got knocked out by Crocop. He also got knocked out by Brendan Schaub. Or no, was it? I don't know if he knocked out Brendan Schaub or Brendan Schaub knocked him out. But I remember Gabriel. Oh, your poem, Sam. Sam wrote me a poem, guys. Our John, who art in Texas, Jiu-jitsu be thy game. With practice done, your belts will come on earth as it is. I like it up until the end. You know, the Lexus part. I mean, I don't know about that one. Hey, got you, Blaze. My bad, dude. He KO'd Crocop. Okay, yeah, it's been a while. He's an old school UFC fighter. But I like the poem, Sam. Thanks so much, dude. Yeah, Gabriel's a legit black belt. Verdum, one of my favorite black belts in MMA. Damian Maia, you can tell, is like super skilled, but he's so good at jiu-jitsu that he doesn't have any physicality with it. Like, he can just kind of hold you there and stall. He's so good, which is not the most entertaining, but you gotta give him his credit. I think he Crocop. Yeah. Nvidia is still rising, guys. Look at Nvidia all the way up to 703.80, 703.80, still making moves. All right, guys. Hey, we got 45 minutes until CPI revisional data comes out. I've never really covered this revisional data. I guess it only drops once per year. And so we'll see what it looks like. All right, guys. We got that CPI provisional adjustment. All right, so we're going to get a timer up for the CPI data. And again, I don't know how much it's actually going to affect markets. I really don't. Bro, what is going on? Is there a way to fix... I know there's supposed to be a way to fix my... Okay, I got it. Where's the Windows R key? Freaking new keyboard. I don't know what the Windows key is. Services. Where's the Windows key? All right, Palantir dipping down some more here. So let's put Palantir up at 24s. I look like who? Now I go. Bro, I look like this guy, dude. How many, like, people say I look like all these different types of people, bro. I've heard, again. Let's see what else we got. There's a way to use it. I don't have a Windows key. I don't think I have a Windows key on this keyboard. Alright, I guess we're gonna have to try it this way. There we go. Okay, I figured it out. Okay, we're locating this. Windows search. Windows search. There it is. Okay, we just restarted it. Weird. I want my timer up. It looks like I can't put my timer up. Okay, I found my clock, though. There we go. I got it. All right, we're here. We got it up. All right, so, hey, we got 40 seconds left. A little bit under 40 seconds. We got, like, 36 and a half minutes left. Yeah, we got 36 and a half minutes left. So we will put this up 7:30. CPI revisional data. I don't know if this is going to help or hurt the market. I've never really covered it. We're going to put the Q up here as well. There's the Q. We got Palantir on the right. NVIDIA now dipping down under 700s, but a huge break to the upside. A huge move. You look unique. Yeah, again, this is what somebody's saying I look like. Sergio Aguero is what they're saying I look like. So, and it's weird. I can't get the snipping tool out, so I can't take a picture of anything here. Something's off with my computer. It's okay. Yeah, they could revise numbers up to 5 years ago. It could be big. Yeah, for sure. So basically, people saying I look like this. I don't know if I see it. They're saying I look like this. Do y'all think I look like this? I mean, I don't. He looks like a normal guy, you know, and so maybe it's the beard. But here's everybody I've heard I've looked like. I've heard when my hair is long. This is probably the one that I've seen the most, right? The one people say I look like the most is this guy, I guess. Ryan Felipe is what I've heard the most. You know, so I've heard this guy a lot. Okay, well, let me take a picture, but I've heard this guy a lot. I've heard him a lot. I've heard Paul Felder, the Irish Dragon. So I've heard this guy a lot, Paul Felder, a bunch. I've heard Forrest Griffin. I've heard Forrest Griffin a lot. I don't like that one very much, you know. So I've heard Forrest Griffin. Jim Miller? Now I'm getting Jim Miller, bro. Everybody always relates me to MMA fighters. Jim Miller. Jim Miller's been on a tear. He's going to be fighting in UFC 300. We'll see how that looks, but here's Jim Miller, you know. At least you don't look like Carrot Top, dude. I don't know. That's arguable, bro. Forrest Griffin, that one hurts, dude. That one hurts. It depends on which picture of Forrest Griffin I'm saying, I guess. My ears aren't as big as Forrest, and so I got a little bit smaller ears. It depends on which picture. You know, I've got bigger lips than Forrest too, you know. So like, I kind of look like him, but I have dark hair, same eyes structure. But his ears are just noticeably bigger than mine, you know. So, like, here's Forrest. You know. All right, NVIDIA has 703s. Part of me wants to buy this dip. Maybe we will buy this dip on the Q. We're going to buy this little Q dip. See if it helps. All right, we're at 100 shares at the Q early this morning. We'll see if that gives us anything good. We're up a lot today. We're up well over $100 on our equities portfolio already. And so, you know, Jean-Claude Van Damme, dude, I'll take him. I used to love the Mortal Kombat movie, the early Mortal Kombat movie. No, what? Maybe it wasn't Mortal Kombat. It was Street Fighter. I used to love the old Street Fighter movies. CPI is not today. So CPI is not today. The revisional factors for or the revisional adjustment for CPI is today. So again, CPI revisional adjustment. All right, so I'm looking up here. I'm going to add a little bit more to this, take 50 shares, and then we're going to prepare to cut it if it breaks down anymore. We got that volume weighted average price level right here, so we can play with it, see if we get a bounce. I don't know. It's so good. It's like my childhood. Who do y'all have winning the Super Bowl? Palantir breaking down. NVIDIA still bouncing. A lot of it is going to depend on NVIDIA. All right, so we're getting ready to cut this. All right, so we are breaking down. We're probably going to cut this. Yeah, I don't like this bounce under. We're just going to go ahead and cut it. We lost about 25 bucks there. Just too big of a dip. I wanted to see if we bounced at the volume weighted average price. Alright, so again, we are breaking down here. Looks like it was the right move to sell there. We're hitting that 200 EMA level, though. So we'll see if that holds or what. Alright, so in June of 2005, Pawn is showing me this data. In July of 2005, MySpace was bought by News Corporation for $580 million. In 2006, it surpassed Yahoo and Google to become the most visited website in the US. So I guess Tom sold it at the peak. One of the best trades ever, I guess. He got out right in time. Clay Guida? Clay, I give Clay credit. He's a boring fighter to watch, but he's tough. I see what y'all are going here, like, and they all have a very similar look. A very similar look. Sorry, I'm pulling up Task Manager here. Trying to find the search bar. Wait a minute, dude. How did that get on my computer, man? They should treat selling business like a divorce, pay the workers who helped build it. Why? Like, listen, the workers got paid for it, man. You know what I mean? Like, that's just not how it works. Like, listen, you can have people, like, it's kind of like, an example of this is like the actor strike. The actor strike is one of the most ridiculous strikes ever. Like, the actor strike basically boils around The actors want to get paid more because the writers are making more, right? But the writers are writing and creating the content. The actors are getting paid to act. They're not writing it. They shouldn't get royalties. It's not their creative things. It's the writers' creative things. So the writers are getting paid the bulk of the share. Why? Because they wrote it, you know? And so the actors saying, hey, we want to make royalties. It's like, dude, y'all didn't write it. You want to make royalties, write the content. Same thing with the workers. If they want to make big CEO money, become a CEO. But, you know, they're getting paid to do what they're supposed to do. And it's their choice on whether they want to take the job or not. You know, and so I don't know. I'm sorry, it's bad. It's all good. You know, we can disagree on this particular subject, and it's all love here, brother. But I certainly disagree there. We are talking about when a business gets sold. I know, but that's even more ridiculous. You know, again, if you have to split the profits with the workers, it's bad. Why grow a business to begin with is the root problem there. Like, who's going to want to grow a business at all if you have to split the profits when you sell it with the workers, you know, and you don't make nearly as much doing it? What it's going to do is it's going to discourage people from starting businesses in general, right? It just doesn't work like that. It's a pleasant, you know, it's a pleasant concept. Like, hey, workers should, you know, own the business too, and I get it, but it's just a ridiculous argument. No offense. Nvidia at $702. Let's see if Nvidia keeps bouncing here. Look at Nvidia right at the volume weighted average price. This might actually drag the Q up. It's not. You might have to work, it's bad, but you don't have to work for any specific company. And so workers are able to shop around and find the best pay and then take those jobs. You know what I mean? There's also jobs that do give you equity. Startups specifically give you equity. The problem here is risk related. Okay? To start a business is risky. Right? To start any business is incredibly risky. Most businesses fail. You know, the average entrepreneur fails at 6 businesses before they succeed. And so that's something that the workers are not experiencing, is that risk. And so if somebody's going to put up the money and risk that money and risk their time and energy in starting a business, they reap the reward for it because they're ultimately the ones taking the risk, right? You got to take the risk. If you're not taking the risk and you're still getting paid, regardless of whether the business succeeds or fails, you know, I don't know. I think you gotta, you know, if you take the risk and succeed, you get the reward for it, not anybody else. And I think that's how it should be, because if not, nobody's gonna want to start a business. If the concept of starting a business is ended with you not getting a reward, even if you took the risk and succeeded, then nobody's going to start businesses. You know, it's going to completely discourage that type of thing. You know, and everything else about getting paid well and about options and about fair pay, that all has to do with the company. I agree. People should get paid fairly. I think the minimum wage should increase, because I think that if you look at it in terms of just basic inflation, you know, the minimum wage should have gone up a long time ago. But, you know, sharing equity in the business with the owners is with the workers is just a different thing altogether. And it's not sensical. It doesn't make sense. Like when you extrapolate that over like a big period of time, the end result is going to be less people starting businesses because there's no point in it. And that's a very obvious thing, I think. And so I think that's the big hiccup in that type of logic, is that over time, nobody's going to want to start a business because it's not worth it to, because you're not going to get the share of it anyway at the end. Yeah, 100% J-Mo. I agree, brother. I agree, man. Pay him a good wage. I'm all for that, brother. There should be no point in it. I mean, that's a fun, idealistic concept. It's bad just living off the land and hanging out all day. I get it. Listen, I'm not even disagreeing with you that might be how it should be, right? Again, though, that's not how it is. And so, again, I get it, but the world has got too many people in it now, you know? And capitalism, I think, is obviously the best structure. You know, it creates a very high standard of living relative to the rest of the world. And if you don't believe that, you got to ask yourself, why is all these other countries trying to come here? Like, why are people from all these other countries trying to get in here? There's a reason they're trying to. It's because we have a very high standard of living objectively. But it's getting a little bit too political. So I'm going to bow out of this conversation and talk about stocks. NVIDIA trying to hold at the volume weighted average price, though. Let's see if it does. So again, NVIDIA right at the volume weighted average price at that 701.50 level, 701.50 level. Palantir did break under that 200 EMA volume weighted average price. Yeah, it's all good, brother. It's all good, man. Again, we can agree to disagree. That's the beautiful thing about the internet. Yeah. You don't have to share equity. My company gives certain employees options to buy shares off the company and get a return on profits. 100%. Right, and sharing the risk of losses. I agree with that completely. I think that's a thing. I think it's important to understand, like, a lot of workers just look at it like, oh, well, we're building the company, and it's like you're getting paid to do so. You're getting paid to do a job. You know, of course, anybody wants to reap the benefits without taking in the risk, but that's not really fair to anybody. And again, it's an idealistic concept, but it's just not the reality of things, unfortunately. NVIDIA up to 702s. 702s. Palantir still trying to come back. Let's see if we can break over the volume weighted average price. The Q is at 434s. Yeah, we got about 20 minutes before CPI revisional factor data. The market might care a little bit from that, Steve, but who knows how much. Palantir trying to get back up there. The Q trying to get back up there as well, but still testing that 200 EMA. Again, CPI revisional factors. I don't know how much these are going to affect the market. I really don't know. To give you some perspective on the CPI. Updated seasonal factors to be introduced February 9th of 2024. Just to read this, each year with this release of January CPI, seasonal adjustment factors are recalculated to reflect price movements from the just completed calendar year. This routine annual recalculation may result in revisions to seasonally adjusted indexes for the previous 5 years. Recalculated seasonal adjusted indexes as well as recalculated seasonal adjustment factors for the period January 2019 through December 23 will be made available on Friday, today, February 9th, 2024. The revised indexes and seasonal factors will be available on this page. CPI can be contacted after 8:30 on the day of release to obtain updated seasonal factors. So we'll see if they update anything here. And so here's the last one, I guess. Palantir's starting to balance it back up. Bitcoin's still running up today too. And I don't even know if these are going to affect the market regarding the seasonally adjusted things. So when a film loses money, do actors give that payback? Probably not. And that's the root problem of it. I mean, I have zero sympathy for millionaire actors saying, hey, I want more money. Writers get more money. It's like, yeah, because they're writing the scripts you're reading. You're getting paid to act, and they're getting paid to write. And you can't get mad at them when they make more money for creating the content that they're just acting out. You know what I mean? Like, that's a silly thing. And so I think, yeah. I don't know if this seasonal adjusted CPI revisional adjustment data at 8:30 is going to move the markets at all. I really don't know. I've never really covered it. We got 15 minutes left until it drops, though, but I've never really covered it, so we'll see. Yeah, property tax here sucks. And again, property taxes here sucks. I'm in Texas right now, so I have to deal with it more than anything. In some places, it's 2.2%, which just really discourages investing here. Investing in the 2.2% tax bracket for property tax. Like, it just genuinely discourages it. Again, the example I always use, say you got a $500,000 house, which is an expensive house, a very nice house. This $500K in Texas, universally, except for maybe like Austin related areas and maybe some super high neighborhoods here in Houston and, you know, the Woodlands, Texas, $500,000 anywhere outside of a couple spots is going to get you a 5-bedroom, you know, 3,000 to 4,000 square foot home, you know, so very large 5-bedroom house for $500K. You know, you're going to be paying, but let's do a cheaper version of that, actually. Let's do a $300,000 house, which is going to get you like, you know, a 4-bedroom, you know, 2,000 square foot home roughly on average, right? So let's do that. So some property taxes are 2.2% here a year. So almost $7,000 of that, which is crazy. Like for a $3,000 or $300,000 house, you might be able to get what, $1,200 a month in rent. And so you're going to be giving up almost half of any rental income you make just on property taxes. And so people like to say Texas, less, you know, people, oh, there's no state income tax. And that's true. But the check comes when you got to pay property taxes here because they're obscenely high in some places. Not all places, though. Look at NVIDIA up to 703s. Yeah, but they're not high everywhere. In some places, they're like 1.5%. And so, but yeah. All right, guys, we got 12 minutes. NVIDIA's still bumping up at 703s. North Carolina is 0.7%. That's great. I would love 0.7. Look at NVIDIA up to almost 704. What's the new lifetime highs? Bitcoin hit $47,000 this morning. All right, guys, we still got 10 minutes before CPI revisional factors. having lived and worked all across the world, I have come to the conclusion that for most people with wealth, you're looking at 40 to 50%. Yeah, 100%. That's probably about right. Now remember, it's marginal tax rate. So, it's a marginal tax rate. So it's only over a certain amount. The sweet spot, in my opinion, tax-wise, is about 200 to 300,000. You make 200K to 300K, you're going to pay the least amount of taxes, but still have a very, very high standard of living in most places around the country, right? 2 to 300,000 a year is the sweet spot, in my personal subjective opinion. 2 to 300K a year, you're going to pay the least in taxes, while also having a very high standard of living. But again, that's just me personally, my personal subjective opinion. So this is not the actual CPI report. This is revisional data. So this is them correcting the last 5 years of CPI data if they need to correct it. And I don't know if it's going to move the market or not. I really don't know. Genuinely not sure. All right, so the world's largest Bitcoin mine is beginning construction here in Texas. Yeah, this is the actual CPI release. Lower is better, of course. Higher is worse, but like it's not the actual CPI release. This is just the revisional adjustment. Bitcoin ETFs inflows have been bigger than Grayscale's outflows for 9 days in a row. 9 days in a row. All right, 6.5 minutes left. And again, I don't know how big this is going to be. I don't know how much this is going to affect things. I really don't know. Yeah, I like Texas. People we had somebody the other day that said I just hated America. And that's obviously not true. And they said it because I disagreed with some of the Vietnam War. Some of it. I'm a capitalist. I don't necessarily agree with communism. But I also think that the war could have been handled better. And I think that America contradicts its freedom ideology and stuff like the Vietnamese War, because the Vietnamese people were trying to gain their freedom from the French. And so to side with the French in that war was kind of hypocritical in my opinion. But again, I like the U.S., you know what I mean? Just because I think people were very one-sided. Like if you disagree with one thing, they make a blanket statement about your total, like what you support and what you don't support. And I think that maybe that's human nature, but I think most reasonable people understand that these things are very nuanced. Like it's not just super binary, like you either agree with everything the U.S. does or you hate the U.S., and I think that's a silly thing to look at objectively. All right, guys. Hollow? Yeah, see Hollow. Hollow's been going absolutely nuts for the last few days. Whatever happened to the GameStop coin? I know the GameStop coin was out there. So Hollow hit $51 and now dropped down to $21 a share. All right, team, we got about 5.5 minutes. Halo started the week under $1. You mean Hollow? Yeah, Hollow went up to $51, now dipping down some here. All right, guys. I don't even know how to interpret the CPI data. It's not the actual CPI data. Again, this is the seasonally adjusted revised CPI. Again, just to give you some perspective, again, updated seasonal factors to be introduced February 9th, which is today. Each year, seasonal adjustment factors are recalculated to reflect price movements from the just completed calendar year. It's an annual recalculation, and it may result in revisions to seasonally adjusted indexes for the past 5 years. We'll see what shows up at 8:30. Again, we'll see what shows up at 8:30. This is my first time really delving into this. Hi, buddy. How you doing, man? Good. Love you, man. You doing okay? Sorry, my son's coming in here. All right, team. Hey, we got 3.5 minutes. I don't know how much this is going to affect the market either. Again, today's February 9th, and this is the updated data here. So they're going to update the last few years of data, I guess, for CPI. We'll see if this affects the Q positively or negatively. Either way, we're going to cover it. But again, I don't know in what regard it's going to move markets. Again, I can't guarantee it's going to move anything. It might be a nothing burger and everything's boring and slow. I really don't know. We'll see. We're going to cover whatever happens, though. Do you guys think this will move markets at all? That's a good question. Do you guys think this will move markets at all? We'll see if this moves it at all. I don't know. All right, team, we got 2.5 minutes. Not unless it's far away from expectations. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, little, no huge effect. Mara. No. Hello. Mara contracts up 14%. Yeah, I'm sure Mara, Riot are both flying today. Yeah, look at Riot. Riot up to 14s. Mara up to 24s. All right, team, 2 minutes. 2 minutes. It's Friday. We ain't got no job, and we ain't got ish to do but sit around and look at stocks and markets all day and CPI revisional data. If you don't know that reference, you're not cultured enough, man. You know. Is the AI sector overvalued or undervalued? Let me know. All right, team, 1.5 minutes. Again, I don't know if this is going to move markets at all. I really don't. I mean, I tend to hope we get some volatility from this, but I'm not sure what kind of volatility we're going to get. We got 1 minute left, guys. 1 minute left. This timer's a little bit early. We got 1 minute. Undervalued. AI? I don't know if I agree with that one. All right, so we're going to end this timer. Again, this timer's a little bit off. We got about 35 seconds left or so. Again, I'm on the site. I'm just going to have to refresh it until we get some update and then watch markets to see what they do. Again, I really don't know what this is going to do. Shouldn't move them. we are going to throw this in sub only mode. So if you haven't already, hit that sub button. We appreciate you. 10 seconds, guys, 10 seconds. All right, there's 8:30. There's 8:30. And market is down slightly. Let me see if anything shows up here. All right, market's down. So we did have some reaction. We did break down a little bit to this. Yeah, so we are getting a breakdown from this. It probably is taking a little bit of time to interpret it, I guess. Let's see. I'm looking at some of this data here. We got Canadian unemployment numbers show up. Canadian unemployment came in lower than expected at 5.7 versus 5.9%. Yeah, I'm on the site. I'm refreshing this data, but I'm looking for it. Where do I see the revised data? Okay, the market's shooting up on this report. Look at this. 535s. Wow, surprising reaction here. We did get a big bump. All right, so revised plus 0.2%. Plus 0.2%. Previous was plus 0.3%. Plus 0.2% for the revised data here. So here's the revised data. Again, plus 0.2%. There you go. Plus 0.2%. Previous was plus 3%. And so it did move markets. Interesting. The revision data did move markets. Again, at plus 0.2% for the December revised CPI data. A little bit late on the report, but that's okay. I think the data was late. Plus 0.2%. Let me see if I can. All right, so again, U.S. CPI revised to plus 0.2%, previous 0.3%, core unrevised at plus 0.3%. And so that's the data. Market is ripping up on this news, actually, ripping up on this news. Pretty big bounce. And remember, next week we do have actual CPI data. We got about 800 people here live. Remember, next week we have actual CPI data. But look at the market, guys. Wow, you love to see it. You love to see it. Am I still in the SPY? I am. Good. Good. Apple moving up. Baba moving up. Boeing moving up. Tesla moving up. Wow, guys. Look at the markets. Q up to 435s. What's the lifetime highs? All right, so we're over lifetime highs again. Market is churning up right now, team. Wow. NVIDIA right around highs of the day here. Again, the CPI revised data came in higher than expected. Yeah. Or, came in better than expected, I meant. Not higher than expected, sorry. I mean, I would disagree about yeah, I mean, Christie, I'm gonna have to you know, most of the time what happens is it's just the people from those sites. And And again, I mean, you guys know me. We cover CPI and the rest of this data faster than everybody. Again, what you see a lot is you see little bitty streams that are desperate to grow, that go from channel to channel. They go from channel to channel spamming plugs for their streams, right? You guys know any economic data comes out, we cover it faster than everybody. Yeah, again, Sam, they know, like we cover this stuff faster than everybody. That's why we get so many people here for it. Hey, thank you, Philip, my guy. How much is 27 SEK? I don't know what. That is 250. Hey, thanks so much, brother. Thanks so much, man. Swedish dollars. Thank you, good sir. Yeah, I'm faster than Bloomberg. I'm faster than a lot of these sites for sure. Again, most of the time it's just little sites that want to grow is all it really is. So like most of the time it's just like small YouTubers. And again, nobody's more hateful than somebody that's tried to grow a YouTube channel and failed, for sure. Anyways, Q pulling back here. We have a large pullback. We didn't hold the gains from this CPI revised data here. We didn't hold the gains. It'll be fun to see what happens. NVIDIA, right at the highs. 704s, right at the highs of pre-market and extended hours. I might be one of the world's worst traders in the world right now. Definitely faster than a lot of people, though. SPY over 500. Yeah, look at the SPY. So here's the Q on the left side. SPY broke $500 today, guys. $500 at 501.08. If we can hold these gains into the opening bell, that will be well into lifetime highs. Well into lifetime highs. A Bloomberg employee confirmed that you were faster the other day, and he was sitting at his desk at work at the time. Yeah, for sure. That's the craziest thing, bro. Like, people can go, like, listen, y'all can go follow whoever you want to follow. Y'all can follow some of these YouTubers that were really just AMC traders that don't really know about this economic data and what it means. They don't really know about the FOMC decisions and what it means, CPI data, payroll data. They don't really understand the nuance of all this stuff. They're just kind of piggybacking off of it, and they report the data much slower. And so y'all can go follow traders like that, and that's fine. But we've been covering these economic reports for years and years. We know what it means, and that's what people join the stream for, is because they know we know what we're talking about. We might be wrong, and we're the top 3 most wrong trader in the world, but we know what we're talking about. And actually, we've guessed 4 CPI reports in a row. I'm kind of nervous heading into next week because we've gotten 4 CPI predictions correctly. So for the last 4 CPI reports, if you go back and look, people will ask me before CPI comes out, they'll say, hey, John, what do you think CPI is going to show up as? I've gotten it right 4 times in a row. I also got yesterday's right, jobless claims, and I gave a very obscure number yesterday. Yesterday, if you watched the stream, I said I think jobless claims are going to come. I'm going to put out 218 is what I think jobless claims are going to show up as. Jobless claims came out yesterday at 218. You know, and I said it a full like 20, 30 minutes before the report. So, listen, I'm just in tune. I'm just in tune right now. That's all I'm saying. I only watch you for the data. You're the fastest. Thank you. Hey, thank you so much. Hey, what's up? Yeah, there's the Bloomberg employee. Yeah, I'm in Baba right now. We'll see if it works. And again, like I said, to be fair, though, listen, to be fair, I would love to say that I've got some deep skill in prediction. I would love to say that. Right, but I'm just getting super lucky. Maybe I'm in tune with the universe. That's but zero skill involved. Literally zero skill involved. I would love to claim I did, and somehow I just was just that good at prediction. I'm just getting lucky. All right, team. With that said, though, check out our sponsors. If you haven't already, check out Top Step. If you want to day trade again, you can essentially day trade the SPY in futures. There's no PDT rule in futures. You can day trade short, buy market, sell market, all that good stuff. And you can essentially day trade the SPY in what's called the E-mini. It's the S&P 500 futures contract. You can buy market, sell market. No PDT restrictions in futures, and essentially day trade the QQQ price action and what's called the NASDAQ. It's the NASDAQ 100 futures or the SPY or gold or some currencies or some cryptocurrencies. No PDT rule. Top Step gives you a demo and they test your skill. If you could pass the test, they fund you. If you can't pass the test, you're only out what you pay for it. The base one's $49. They give you a $50K demo. If you can hit $3K in profit without losing $2K and following their rules, they fund you same amount with a 90% split. And so your risk is limited in what you pay for the combine. The base one's $50 basically. But if you're good enough to pass it, you could turn that $50 into $50K in funding with a 90% split. And if you lose, it's not the end of the world, but if you get funded, you're keeping 90% split anyway. And so it's the best of both worlds, limited risk, but a great reward potential. And free funding coaches, tons of great resources. They've been around for over a decade. They are a sponsor of mine. I'm incredibly biased in their favor because they pay me money, but I think it's genuinely useful for traders, especially if you want to day trade to limit your risk because most new day traders lose. And so you can check it out here if you want to help support your boy in this channel. More than the data, you've got good energy, definitely top 3 energy traders in the world. Good vibes, easy listening. Hey, my guy, thanks so much. I'm living in the 5th dimension. Hey, top 3, 3rd dimension in my opinion, but hey, it's like poker, you're on a streak. Yeah. Mara, cryptocurrencies ripping up here. So look at, there's Palantir on the right. Here's Mara. Here's Riot. And here's Bitcoin. Bitcoin up to almost $78,000 or $48,000 a coin. Thank you for all the info you're giving us. Hey, you're welcome. John, I always respect your honesty, especially about being biased. Hey, we're top 3 most biased traders in the world. All right, so we're going to get ready to potentially trade, although the SPY just dumped under $500 a share. Look at this. We're under 500 on the SPY. I don't know if we're going to hold or what that looks like, but we're under 5. Is it time for a market correction? Why never trade in penny stocks? Because penny stocks are terrible companies that, okay, here's the basic reason why. There's a lot of reasons. Let me go over them real quick. All right. In pursuit of honesty, let's talk about it. So the basic reason I don't trade and invest in penny stocks is because the edge is very, very low relative to blue chips. Relative to mid caps, the edge is very, very low. Why is the edge low? And that people might disagree. It's a subjective thing. Somebody else might have a better edge than me over these things, and that's fine. But the guru-like culture of penny stocks, people promise the world. They sell you a dream, trying to get rich selling courses on this niche. And they are, again, most of them are being dishonest. They're being dishonest about how much they make. They're being dishonest about how easy it is to trade. They're being dishonest about the financial freedom that you get from trading penny stocks. And the guru, Lamborghini, Ferrari, mansion culture of sell you a dream, promise you riches, and then take advantage of you is so ripe in penny stocks that if you're new as a trader, you should avoid that. You should avoid it. The problem where it really gets people is young people get stuck in that. Why are they more vulnerable to that type of stuff? It's because more young people are the ones pushing that guru-like culture, and people are more likely to support people they relate to. So if I'm young, I'm more likely to support young people in that regard. And if they're pushing penny stock guru culture, I could get wrapped up in that if I'm not careful. That's the first part, right? The edge is lower and the culture is toxic in some ways. Not everybody. There's some good penny stock traders. There's some penny stock gurus that are solid, but it's certainly not most of them. That's the first thing. The second thing is the edge. The edge is very low in penny stocks, and that penny stocks get halted. They get diluted with reverse splits. They are diluted with offerings. They have reverse splits. Even if you have a profitable, sustainable pattern that works, the likelihood that the stock's going to break highs and get halted and never resume is not zero. Like, it might be decent percentage that stock can get halted, get investigated by the SEC, and then never resume. The likelihood that you're going to get dumped on, that the insiders within the company are manipulating the stock for their benefit and selling and unloading all of their shares on unsuspecting traders is very high as well. And so when you add all of those things into consideration, the edge is low. In terms of general investments, right? Like, I can buy Apple right now. And I can buy Apple right now. And I can trade Apple right now. I could day trade Apple right now. And if I'm wrong about my day trade, I could sit on Apple long enough until eventually I'm going to make money on that trade. Even if I have to hold it for years. Eventually I'm going to make money on that trade if I sit in it. Most likely, at least. Probabilities are very high that eventually I'm going to make money on that trade. In penny stocks, it's the opposite. In penny stocks, the longer you hold those positions in penny stocks, the less likely you are to make money. And so I just think it's a niche of trading. And I used to trade it, and I'm terrible at trading penny stocks. And so I just think that it takes advantage of naive, gullible traders. Yeah, I've talked about it before. I could buy 10 random penny stocks. And if I hold those positions for 1 to 2 years, I'm almost certain to lose a large majority of that portfolio. If I buy 10 random blue chip stocks like Apple, Amazon, Walmart, whatever you want, I'm most likely going to make money holding that for at least a few years. And so that's the main reason why. It just follow what big money does. You want to know what works? Follow big money. One thing that big money very consistently doesn't do is mess with penny stocks, and there's a reason for that. You have to truly think about that objectively and think about why. But again, a lot of people are selling a dream. They're selling financial freedom. And when I say stuff like this, I'm attacking people's dreams. Like, people believe they're truly going to buy this mentor's course and all of a sudden start making $1,000 a day, riding off into the sunset as some penny stock guru. What happens most of the time is that people start day trading penny stocks, get their butt kicked, lose a ton of money, and then they turn into penny stock gurus as well and start selling courses even though they're not making money. That's much more common than somebody actually being successful. And so Palantir just broke highs, got up to $25 plus here, $25 plus. Let's see if it holds. It's at Beginner Trades, James, at Beginner Trades. Not with your funded account, no. Nobody's sure. I'm not sure if I can make money holding Apple for a year. All I can do is look at probabilities. And the probabilities are certainly higher than holding a penny stock for a year, Texan. You just say don't buy penny stocks and you bought Palantir. Palantir's $25 a share, brother. It's an AI stock. It's not a penny stock. The lowest Palantir has been in the last 5 years is $5.84, and it was only lower than $10 for a couple months, and since then it's been right back over 10. Palantir's a mid cap, brother. It's not a penny stock. You know, penny stock is a small float, low cap stock under $5. Palantir is at $25 right now, brother. So certainly not a penny stock. Well, not even just OTC and pink sheets. I would label anything under $5 with a small float a penny stock. Yeah, I don't think the market cap's small for Palantir. I think a lot of people don't understand penny stocks. And I think what's going on sometimes is I think if you're holding a large portfolio of penny stocks right now and you're losing big money on them, And, you know, you got to understand the marketing that floats around for these things is so sensationalist. Like, you buy these stocks and you read the marketing, and it's going to talk you into holding it. They're going to act like it's the next Amazon. And, again, you can revert to Jordan Belfort, Aerotine International. He described it as, quote, a cutting-edge firm out the Midwest awaiting imminent patent approval on the next generation of radar detectors with both huge civilian and military use now. You know, how did he sell them? He told people that they could make 10x their profit. Exactly what the penny stock gurus pushing a lot of these videos on how this penny stock is going to 1000x in the next year, or whatever it is. Same concept. Same thing that Jordan Belfort did, right? And again, same thing. People that are desperate for riches get caught up in that, hoping to make money. And again, if you're holding some of these stocks, this might hurt to hear. Please don't get mad at the messenger. I'm just trying to be as honest as I can regarding them. Under $5 is considered a penny stock. Yeah, but Palantir hasn't been under $5 in 5 years. The revision the market liked a lot. It came in at plus 0.2%. Market liked it a lot. You speak the truth. We try, man. Again, some people the truth hurts. Again, if you're holding some penny stock long term, losing huge percentages on it, this might hurt to hear because it's the truth. Hey, baby, how you doing? Okay, that's fine. Hey, later, James. Have a good day, brother. Yeah, in the end, guys, like, what you really want to learn to do, there's a couple things that you have to be in trading, in my opinion. You have to be, number one, flexible with your views on things. You have to be flexible. Like, you can't be rigid in this. If you're too rigid, you are going to fail at this. All right, you have to be flexible. You have to be willing to change your mind in things. You have to be willing to admit you're wrong based off of new data and updated data. You have to be able to admit you're wrong. You have to be flexible. You can't be too rigid. If you are, you're setting yourself up to lose here. The other thing you have to do is be skeptical. You have to be skeptical of things. You have to be skeptical of stocks. Immediately skeptical. If you don't look at everything from a skeptical lens, you're setting yourself up to lose. And so it's one of those things where you can't be rigid. You have to be flexible. You have to be skeptical. And if you can do those things when you analyze it, you're going to be in a much better position. You also can't really fanboy specific stocks like that. Like, you can't get so in love with a company that you refuse to look at the truth. You know, the same thing happened with the AMC community, and I'm in AMC right now, just to clarify. But people got so involved in AMC, they put their life savings on AMC, and even though AMC was wildly depreciating, they invested their life savings and refused to look at it objectively. And again, a lot of these marketings, a lot of these followings are toxic to a certain extent because they're just trying to talk traders into sitting in wildly depreciating stocks. And so again, you got to be skeptical. You don't want to fanboy anything, in my opinion. You got to kind of take it slow, understand the true nature of this, which is a marketing angle. Like, a lot of these stocks are just marketed to the public, and people buy it up, eat it up, love it, refuse to ever sell, and lose tons of money. You have to be resilient to that. I started as an AMC ape. John spoke the truth. Glad I listened. Congrats, man. Yeah, misery loves company. You know, absolutely. All right, so we still got about 600 people here live. Palantir still running up. Look at Palantir, over 25s. You'd love to see it. Trying to. There it is. All right. All right, so we're nicely green as well. Watch Bitcoin. You can see Palantir on the right side too. What's a good strat for taking profits when stocks shoot up like Palantir? I'm not sure what you should do. AMC beat Q4 sales. You're talking about AMC Network, not AMC movie theaters, though. So you're talking about the AMC. America's Movie Channel, I think is what the abbreviation stands for, but I'm not 100% sure there, but I'm pretty sure that's what you're talking about. I would say, Q, that if you're up big in anything, it doesn't matter what stock, it doesn't matter how long you believe in it, taking a little bit of profit and protecting the trade so that you can sit on more long term is usually what I personally do. I'm not telling you to do that, but if I'm up really, really big in anything and I haven't taken profit, I usually start to take some off. I take 25%, a third, whatever you want to do, and that's typically the best way to protect yourself, get you less emotional about the position, so that if you want to hold it longer, you can, and even if you hold it longer and it turns against you, you still locked in some profit, so you're not going to be losing or whatever it is. That's kind of what I try to do. But again, everybody's different. Some people are going to prefer to just hold it long term without doing that, and I understand both ways, you know. I guess Palantir. John, I have a question. When you are trading options, when is the best time to sell? I mean, Chris, that's such a vague question that has so many different answers. What do you mean? Like, there's so much, like, that's like me saying, hey, when should I sell my car without giving you any more data? I don't know. When should you sell it? Like, you got to give me more details, brother. And again, I don't know when you should sell it regardless of any of that. All right, team. So again, SPY slightly under 500. We'll see if we can break that at the open. All right, so we're probably going to day trade some stocks today, number one. We're probably going to day trade some stocks today. We're also going to be trading on Quant Tower on Top Steps funded account program. I thought I was up more in one of these accounts. I don't know what happened. Maybe it's just not loading on time. All right, so we're gonna start another combine. I guess I hit my max loss in one of these combines. I haven't traded it in the last few days, so I don't know when we're going to do what we're going to do, but we're just going to open up a fresh combine and see if we can make 1,500 today. Oh, there we go. There's the profit. Okay, so that's the one we're up. So, yeah, we're up a little bit in this account, actually. We didn't hit our max loss, I guess. We're going to be trading the NASDAQ. All right, so we're going to be trading the NASDAQ here. And in futures, this is basically the QQQ price action. So it's basically the QQQ price action. NVIDIA trying to make a run. We'll see if it holds. Here's the NASDAQ. So we have like a bull flag from the CPI revisional data, I guess. So yeah, we're gonna be day trading this live too. Have you made a payout from them yet? No, but you also have to understand, like, Top Step's a sponsor of mine, and like I don't necessarily need to get funded by them. You know what I mean? Like, my TOS account's got $250,000 in buying power, and so it's like I day trade on them because I think it's fun, and I'm funded in 2 different accounts, but the sense of urgency to take a withdrawal from them or whatever isn't super high, because again, like the last few days I haven't even traded futures. I've been trading stocks, and so you got to understand the context of it, where, you know, I'm already funded in my own account. You know what I mean? So I don't necessarily need to get funded. And we're funded in Top Step, and I think most people, it's not going to be like that. Like, I think Top Step is going to be incredibly useful for most people, because most people don't have that much money. And it gets you around the PDT rule. And more than anything, it lets new traders limit their risk in the beginning. Most new traders fail. And so I always try to say the same thing, where you can try to look cool and put up thousands of dollars yourself and probably lose. Or you could try a funded account program. Top Step's the most legit one in the world. And if you lose, like most traders are going to, you're only out $49 for the base one, $150 for the top one. You're significantly reducing your risk. But if you're good enough to pass it, you get between 50 to 150K in funding with a 90% split. There's no PDT rule in futures, so you can day trade short. You can see I can buy market, sell market, you know, ask, bid, whatever I want to use. And there's no PDT rule. I can day trade short with limited risk. And again, if I'm good enough to pass it, I still keep 90%. There's free funding coaches. They pay out millions, fund thousands a year. And so there's a reason for most traders to use this. And again, I use it as well. But again, I just don't need to get funded. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need to get funded. I am funded by them, Nori, so I am funded. And again, if you want to check it out, there's the link. This looks like a little bull flag, though. Part of me wants to buy this, especially heading into the opening bell. I might try. Ah, man, we're getting a little bounce already. I should have bought it 5 seconds ago. Yeah, I'm funded. I just haven't taken a payout yet. CME is saying May for the first cut. I think May most likely will be when it is, but I think it's going to depend on what happens during the next Fed meeting, the Fed minutes report, CPI data next week, PCE data later in this month. I think a lot of that is going to influence when the Fed chooses to cut, and I don't think it's set in stone by any means. I still think it's up in the air regarding cuts. Yeah, I think it's too much noise, Dustin, but it's a subjective thing. I don't like the upper and lower bands. Yeah, dude, I saw a really good thought experiment from a motivational video yesterday, and I feel like I want to tell people. Again, just to preface it, this is not my idea specifically. It's not my concepts. It's not my idea, but I do think it's a truly a good way to get what you want in life, right? Like I heard it, and it's kind of what I've been doing for years, but I think people can learn from what I'm about to say. And you can do it with anything. All right. So first part of that is write down 10 of your most desired goals. Like, what 10 things in life do you want to accomplish to make yourself happier, right? Write out 10 of those things. Find the one goal out of those 10 that is going to have the most positive effect on your life. So figure out what goal it is that's going to have the most positive effect on your life. Once you've identified that goal, and again, it should stick out very clearly to you. Like, it should be a very obvious one. Once you figure whatever that is, every person's different. Find out what that goal is. And then get another piece of paper. And on that next piece of paper, write down the steps that you think you need to make in order to accomplish that one goal that you've isolated from the previous list. Right? Like, write out all of those steps. Figure out what you got to do. Different steps, different building blocks to achieve that goal, and then focus on doing those steps. Focus on one of those things, one of those steps every day, every week, whatever time frame you want, and eventually you can certainly hit that goal if you try. I think that was a beautiful thought process, a beautiful concept. I think I've had a very similar structure to my workflow. It's like kind of to my workflow for years, but it was good to see it kind of explained in that way, because it makes perfect sense, Anyways. Today could be wild. We could see some squeeze. Yeah, for sure. Mara ripping. Yeah, Bitcoin is ripping up. That's the crazy one. Bitcoin's ripping up. It's dragging mining companies like Mara, Riot, all that good stuff up. Again, the SPY, just under 499.50s. And I do want to buy this up. I'm going to buy this up. It's kind of risky. This is a combine account, so we can play with it and have some risk and take some risk. And if we lose it, it's not going to be the end of the world. Just to put it into perspective and for full honesty. All right, so we're in one contract here. And again, this is a combine account, so we will add to this one to have fun with it. Goal is to make $1,500 in this account on the day. So we're going to add a little bit to it. If we lose this account, like we've got a bunch of other ones, so it's all good. All right, we're going to add 3 contracts. It's a very big position, but again, we got to take, when you're trying to get funded on Top Step and stuff like that, I think you have to take risks, especially in the beginning. And you got to just be willing to reset, in my opinion. All right, so there we go. Pop up. We just took half off, took another half off. So we got one contract left. So we're up about 60 plus whatever profit. So we're up about $100, 100 something on the day. I'll let the rest ride since we have a $60 plus cushion. Oh, I might add a little bit more to this. Look at NVIDIA break highs. So NVIDIA breaking highs. I'm going to add to this actually. There we go. I just took another half off. We're up about 150 on the day. And I'm going to go ahead and cut the rest of that out. So we are up on that trade about 165 in futures. And again, you can see it's very similar to day trading stocks. Very similar. I can buy market, sell market. That's what you see me doing. The reason I bought this is because NVIDIA, a very influential stock over the last year, broke highs. We broke lifetime highs up there at 706 plus. So NVIDIA broke highs. Not lifetime highs, I'm sorry. NVIDIA broke highs of the day. Lifetime high is 707s. So Palantir also holding over $25 level. You have to ask yourself, are you looking for an emotional payoff or a financial one? Yeah, man, I think you see like Rob Dyrdek. He has on his left arm perseverance tattooed on his left arm, I believe. And I truly think that is one of the most important skills you can have in business is perseverance. The common saying is that 6 businesses fail before 1 succeeds. And that is very true for me, at least. I've failed on a ton of stuff. And I think that's what gets most people is that they try and they fail and then they give up and they stop and they go work for somebody else the rest of their life. Where there's a certain luck element that is real in this. Like, you got to get lucky. And so I think you have to have the perseverance to keep trying, even if you fail. And again, I'm not even claiming to be some good business person or some super successful business person. I'm happy in my life where I am, but like, I guess the point I'm trying to make is that you got to just push through the failures because you will fail, and that's part of it. And the ones that end up being successful, unless they just got really lucky in the beginning, are ones in which they don't let that discourage them too much. They can instead keep going. Part of me wants to buy this. It kind of retraced a little bit too much up there, though. All right, we'll buy this. We got a cushion on the day, so we can take that risk and see if we want to double down on it or what we want to do. All right, so we just made another $60 or $70 on this Combine account. So we are up about 230s. And also remember, guys, always remember this. I am terrible at this stuff and have no idea what I'm talking about. Understand this rule. Very important rule. Understand it. Understand this rule. But so far, so good. We bought that dip. It worked. Palantir just broke highs again. Look at Palantir on the bottom right chart. I think the SPY is going to try to break 500 at the open, but Palantir up to 25.20s. Yeah, I mean, it's just important. Like, I think what happens is people try a business and they fail, and then they say it's rigged or whatever. And of course, like, if making money was that easy, everybody would be rich, I think success is hard. E-mini help VWAP. Yeah, but I think it's it's bad. I think there's a lot of nuance to it, and there's certainly a lot of variety in it. What I will say, if it takes 40 years to save that amount of money, then, spending is getting spent elsewhere. Like, I know a lot of people, family members, in fact, that struggle financially. Most of the time, it's because they're blowing money on, like, cigarettes. They're blowing money on, like, chain smoking cigarettes. They're blowing money on a lot of unnecessary things that cause them to have worse margins in budgets. And so I think it depends on where you are. And I also think that some jobs are not meant for, like, I think jobs at like fast food places are mostly meant for young people. I think after a certain point, you have to build yourself up enough to get better jobs in that way. And I know it's not easy, and this is a very subjective, or this is a very location-based thing, because I think in some places, that's not feasible. Like, I know there's places that just have a bad job economy, and so that it is what it is in that way, and in that regard, it's different. What I will say is this, is that in modern technological age, I think it's very easy to make money online, especially. I think it's very simple to make money. I think anybody that really wants to could earn $50K plus a year without working for somebody else like that, like without working like a conventional job. I think it's very simple to make over 50 grand a year doing a number of different things. You could drive for Uber, you could take 6 months to a year, build up your credit, lease a new car, or lease a used car that is sufficient enough to drive for Uber, and be strategic with it and do it that way. I think you could build social media profiles. I think you could start a number of different, different businesses that will pay that type of money. You could deliver food. You could do all these different things to where you have the freedom, but still the income to be happy and live well. And again, this is certainly not everybody. This is certainly not all encompassing, but I think for most people, it's like that. And I might be, and again, it's very location based. There's some places where you're just not going to, especially like small towns. There's some places that's just not like that. It's just not that easy. But I think in other areas, technology has grown to a point in which if you're smart with how you do it, you can do those type of things. Very simple. Can I make 50K trading? You can. You could also lose 50K. nvda, ramp it up. Hit 708s, guys. 708s. Palantir still at over 25, so see how that acts. Again, the big question is the SPY going to break highs at the opening bell? Do you think the future is electric? It depends on the sun for electricity. I don't think the future is guaranteed in any one energy source, in my opinion. I think as of now, big oil runs the world, and that might change into the future, but it also might not. It depends on a lot of different things. Depends on technology grows very quickly, and so different energy sources sprout up over the decades, and so that's much harder to predict, in my opinion. Yeah, for sure. Like if you are strategic with Uber driving, I'm sure you can make, a good living based off of just, again, if you go out and Uber around clubs and bars, and you're gonna have a very easy time making money. But it's work. Like, it's not like, it's work. Yeah, for sure, Curtis. I mean, live your life, brother. That's your, I'm not against that either. I think people can do whatever they want to do. All right, guys, we got 9 minutes here, 9 minutes until the opening bell. I'm a Bitcoin trader. I don't know. I think the word trader is starting to be seen as a negative thing. It's kind of like entrepreneur. It's like, hey, what do you do? Oh, I'm an entrepreneur. Okay, so you're unemployed then. I think the same kind of the same correlation is going to be made about people who say they're a Bitcoin trader. Hey, what do you do? I'm a Bitcoin trader. Okay, so you're unemployed. Gotcha. I think I've run into a number of people where they're like, hey, I'm an entrepreneur. It's like, okay, in what way? Like, what do you sell? Like, what business do you run? And most of the time they don't run anything. Like, again, I talked about this the other day. I know people that I grew up with on Facebook, and they are just listing all these ridiculous businesses that they're not really running. Like, they've got like 5 different random name businesses popped up on their profile, just trying to look successful. And I get it. Listen, fake it till you make it. But I also think it's kind of transparent after a certain point as well. Again, we got 8 minutes here, 8 minutes. On Facebook, I have nothing up on mine. I don't put any job or anything on mine. I don't need to. And again, I'm just trolling. I'm not trying to be condescending to anybody. I'm just messing around with people. Again, I think it kind of goes back to what I said the other day, in which, you can look at things and somebody goes and bets $5,000 on roulette. Hello? Hello? Nah, you top step salesman. I mean, I'm certainly a salesman in some way. But again, it's not just top step. Like, we have multiple different income sources that we have from this live stream. I mean, you got to understand, we get hundreds of thousands of views per month. And so when you have viewership like that, monetizing that is very simple. It's very easy to do. Because, I mean, you got to think about it in the same regard. Like, if I was in front of, like, even right now, and this is kind of a slower stream for me, like, economic reports are kind of much larger streams. During the CPI revision, we had, like, 800 plus people here. And so if I was in front of 800 real people, I would stutter, talk fast, wouldn't be able to. There's too many people live. You know, when CPI comes out next week, we'll have 4,000 people here. So, you know, and so when CPI drops, we'll have 4,000 people. If I'm sitting in front of 4,000 people, I'm nervous, right? So I think sometimes the internet dilutes how many people it is, and people think that it's not that much or whatever because they see Logan Paul get millions or day trading gurus get more or whatever it is, right? But I think you have to understand like the influence that you have when you get that many people, and how easy that is to monetize. I feel like I try to do it correctly though. I try to always tell people, yo, I'm biased. Which I think is something that most people don't do. I think most try to sell a dream, and I'd rather just be real about it. Which title you want? YouTuber, salesman, or trader? I think YouTuber probably is going to have the best view. Maybe salesman. Trader, again, it depends. Trader can be such a broad interpretation. I could say, yo, I'm a trader. And people could say, oh, man, he's a trader. That's really cool. I could say I'm a trader, and they say, okay, you're unemployed. Or I could say I'm a trader, and it's somewhere in the middle. Same thing with salesman. You say, oh, I'm a salesman. What are you selling? Pins? You know? Are you selling houses? You know what I mean? Hey, thank you, Freddie. Yeah, I bet he did, Rima. Yeah, my best stream, we've had like 8,000 or 9,000 people here. The last FOMC meeting, we got like 50,000 views. We got like, you know, a bunch of people there for the last FOMC meeting. So it just depends. My regular daily streams like this are boring, I think, relative to those streams. But yeah. 4 minutes. Good luck out here today. Be safe. Hey, thanks, Pawn. All right, team. Palantir right at 25 bucks. Everybody's watching the SPY. The SPY at 499.20s. They're watching the SPY to see if it holds. All right, so we got a minute or 2.5 minutes. All right, Palantir bounce it up again. Watch the SPY. The SPY is what I'm watching the closest at the opening bell. The NASDAQ kind of flushing down here. Looks like not a head and shoulders, but just kind of a slight downtrend. Not boring, just real. Hey, thanks so much. I appreciate it. We try. We try. Part of me wants to short. This looks like a weak pattern, but the opening bell so soon, I don't want to mess with shorting this here. I think there's too much risk in shorting that here, so I think I'm just going to hang out and wait and see if we can get some good action after the opening bell in a minute. We'll also day trade stocks today, too. Yeah, I mean, this looks weak right here, and look, since I said that, we actually did get a little flush. But I don't know what we're going to get moving forward. We'll see. All right, 20 seconds, guys. Here's the open. There's the opening bell. Watch the SPY. SPY at 498.75s. Palantir dumping at the opening bell. NASDAQ falling too. Yeah, and I thought this looked weak too. You can kind of see that type of like trickle pattern almost. All right, Palantir trying to hold. Again, nvda down at 703.50s. SPY still flushing down here. We will short this if we get some setups for it, but I think I have to wait until the I gotta wait until a few minutes play out first before I take any big, like, significant position, I think. Apple divvy. Yeah, the first few candles don't matter. We might have big swings one way. SPY went down a little bit, and now we just ripped back up. So now we're kind of flat at the opening bell. Palantir holding. Looks like, at least. I wanted to short because this upwick looks so weak, but I also think the SPY is right around 499, and I think we could start to get some tests of those highs, those lifetime high levels. I think the SPY is at lifetime highs right now. I didn't want to short this, actually. Oh, man, I clicked it, but I shouldn't have. We'll give it a second, though. There we go. Well, sometimes wrong is right. Right is wrong. NVIDIA's starting to ramp back up, too, so... I think I have to put 2 charts up. I don't think it's going to let me... Yeah, it's not going to let me trade 3. Alright, we're going to buy a little bit of the SPY here. All right, we have 20 shares of the SPY. 20. Maybe I should take a little bit more, but that's all right. 499s. We've got 130 shares of the SPY. We'll, you know, much larger position. Took half off, a little bit off. $30 shares left. We'll let the rest bounce a little bit more, but we'll cut it. Protect the trade. Small little scalp at the opening bell with 30 shares. We'll probably let the rest ride. Beautiful day on equities again. Another green day for me. Look at Mara Bitcoin. We're short in futures. We've got a big cushion in futures on the day, about 250 bucks. All right, so we just made a little bit more. We're up almost 3 on the day in futures on our Combine account. All right, we're gonna short again. 1 contract here. I'm gonna start to take a larger risk. 2 contracts. I took half off there. Took the rest off there. So we're up about 4 on the day. Scalping futures, 410 or so on the day. Our little baby SPY day trade is doing okay. Bad fills. I'll let the rest ride, I guess. Nasdaq's coming down while the SPY's going up. Interesting dynamic here for sure. Yeah, Boeing's up. That's nice. I'm in Boeing. This looks weak, though. But the SPY's moving up, which is very strange. All right, so we've got a $400 cushion on this Combine account. So what we can do is take some risks. So we're going to start to take a big position and just risk what we have on the day. Two contracts. We'll take up to 5 here. All right, we'll take half off there. Lock it in. All right, just made another $100 or so from this trade. We are now up about 525, a little bit over $100. So we've got a really nice cushion here on this Combine account. Shorting into the bounce. One contract here left. All right, so we are up. You know, we took our technically first loss on that account. We're up about 600 on this Combine. We've got a 13-to-1 win-loss ratio, a 13-to-1 win-loss ratio. Boeing broke highs again. Just kind of riding this downtrend down, shorting on the pops and then covering on the bottoms. Palantir giving back the gains of today, but still okay. Exxon ripping up. All right, so you can see the SPY bouncing up a little bit with nvda. I'll take one position here. This is going to be a longer term trade in case it flushes all the way back down to the lows. And so we're already up about $50 here. All right, there's the lows. All right, we just took that off. Exactly what we wanted to happen happened. And the reason we take this is because a lot of the time, look, we'll break down and then we'll have a small little kind of profit taking bounce for shorts. A lot of the time, this low of the day level is going to be like a magnet. It's going to be like a magnet. Most of the time, it'll at least come back down and test that level, right? So we can take these small little bounces here. You can see the small little green candlestick that we got and then cover at the bottom and rinse and repeat that until it stops working. And of course, I can't guarantee this is going to work. Nobody can. You got to figure out the right setups for it. But it's just one of those scalping setups that I find success with sometimes. And again, on the day now, we are up about $710 on the day, 710. I'm gonna mute the music for just a second so I can catch that short from this video. All right, so there's that low test again. Same thing that we talked about. It's kind of like a magnet. Boeing still push it up. All right, so we're bouncing right back up. We're still kind of in this range here, though, so we're still kind of testing this range. I don't know what we're going to get from it, but we're still kind of testing this range. Oh, I got Bruce over there, my guard dog, hanging out. And again, if you want a day trade, try out Top Step. Top Step funded program for futures. They give you a demo. They test your skill. If you can pass the test, they fund you. If you can't pass the test, again, you're only out what you pay for it. And so it's a great way to test your skill, challenge yourself. If you want to know whether you're ready to use real money in trading, in my opinion, it's a great way to test that. Because if you lose, it's not the end of the world. But if you pass it, you get funding. And I think in that regard, it makes perfect sense. They're a sponsor of mine, though, of course. Like I always tell you guys, I'm biased because they pay me money. But check them out. Again, here's the link. ExxonMobil ripping up. Boeing just broke highs again. Tesla having a strong day, guys. All the way back up at 193s right now. 193s. Very good day for my equities portfolio again. SPY trying to break highs. I might buy this dip now. It's kind of the opposite trade. We'll take it. Screw it. We'll go ahead and try. All right, so we just made another $100 or so going long on the upside. We see the SPY, we see Tesla start to break highs, and so we are able to make it. We're up about 8 on this account, about $800 or so. Hey, nice Don. Pepsi is down 3%. I wonder why. Earnings. Probably. Maybe it's time to buy it up. I don't know. But most likely, like, earnings is what's causing that dip. Yeah, I could have stayed in that long, too. Maybe I should have. Tesla almost up to 194s. Doesn't toss on doesn't toss give you like a calendar of your green? Might be on the website, right? I'm trying to think of where I saw that. All right, NASDAQ started to push up. SPY battling 499.20s. I think everybody's kind of waiting to see if the SPY breaks $500 today. I think everybody's kind of sitting back, chilling, waiting for that to happen, right? Psychologically, big level. That $500 spot's a big spot. Somebody help me out where I can see my TOS profit loss calendar. I was pretty sure they had one. NVIDIA ripping over, guys. NVIDIA up to 706. SPY at 499.20s. NVIDIA up to 707s. Right now, 707s for NVIDIA, still making moves. All right, so NASDAQ starting to pop back up a little bit. We'll see if it holds. So we're kind of flat on our Tesla position. Like, we're down a little bit still, but not that much. Another thing, another one of my sponsors, guys, is a company called Chart Prime. It's a trading view service you can use in stocks, crypto, forex, futures. Now, you want to search around and find out like what time frame is really like working like that. The ones that I've found to be really successful are the hourly chart is surprisingly accurate. And again, you can use this on anything with a symbol. You can use it on stocks, crypto, forex, futures. Like, look, so here is, let's back test this real quick. So here's a 15-minute chart for the NASDAQ. All right, so here's a 15-minute chart. This is just one of their indicators called the Market Oracle. And so, like, let's test this ourselves really quick with an honest back test. All right, let's test this for an honest back test. All right, so we got the strong buy signal here. This one's too early. The sell signal here is too early. So we're not going to call it wrong, but it's too early. This strong one, we did get a nice pop up. So that one worked. This sell signal didn't work, I think. This strong buy signal worked. This sell signal worked. This buy signal, which y'all can see way down here, beautiful bounce up. So that worked as well. Let's keep going back. So far we've got one that didn't work, which was right here. All right, one that didn't work. All right, now let's keep going. Strong buy signal or strong sell signal definitely worked. I would say this one didn't work. So that's 2 that didn't work. This one definitely worked. Beautiful breakdown from that. And just to show you guys the follow through on this. Definite breakdown from this. This strong one definitely worked. Beautiful breakup from this. This sell signal definitely worked. Beautiful breakdown from this. This strong one definitely worked. All right, so that's 2 out of all these so far. This strong signal definitely worked. That's 3. So let's just stop there. All right, now, so we had 2 that didn't work. I think 2, right? Out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 2 out of 12 didn't work. So over 80% accuracy there. Over 80% accuracy. And I can't guarantee anything. We can look at an hourly chart and see if it works there. And it's not going to work on on everything. Like, it's not always going to work. But the hourly chart is surprisingly impressive for me, at least. I love using the hourly chart. Although you're going to have to find symbols that it's working on well and all that good stuff. So let's check. Strong buy signal came in here. Beautiful bounce afterwards. Sell signal there worked. Strong buy signal there definitely worked. Strong sell signal, or regular sell signal definitely worked. Buy signal here worked. This one was wrong. All right, so let me find right around 26 is when we stopped. Or right around 25 is when we stopped. All right, so 25. All right, I'm trying to see how many worked. Did any of them not work so far? This one worked. This one worked. This one worked. This one, this one, this one, this one, that one, that one. 1. Okay, so we have 1. All right, so let's keep going. 1. We got 1. This one worked. This one didn't work, so that's 2. This one didn't work, so that's 3. This one worked. This one worked. So 3. Back to 25. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12. So 3 out of 12 didn't work. All right, still a very high accuracy rate, very high accuracy rate. And again, this is called Chart Prime. I can't guarantee it's going to work. Nobody can. But again, this is just a small piece. They have oscillators, screeners, back testers, all this different stuff that you can use to try to find an edge. And again, genuinely impressive in my opinion. Although, again, I'm biased because they're a sponsor of mine. And so, again, we'll see what happens, guys. Y'all be safe. I'm going to post this link. Again, they're sponsors of mine. I'm biased in their favor because they pay me money. But again, if you want to check them out, here's the link for that. Great way to help support your boy here in this channel. You can also use this link too if you want to check it out. You can use this banner here too if you want to check it out. You know, use that. And I'll see you guys later. Y'all have a safe and happy weekend. I'm going to bow out for the day, guys. I'm going to get out of here. So y'all be good. Y'all be safe. Market has been churning up again today. We'll see if we break highs on the SPY. NVIDIA is what's helping the market right now. If you look at NVIDIA on this bottom right chart, it is churning up here, churning up. SPY rejected at the VWAP here, so that might mean some downward action. Tesla ripped up and had a beautiful start to the day. We'll see if that concludes the day. But yeah, guys, I'm going to get out of here, so y'all be safe. Y'all be good. Y'all have a safe and happy weekend. I'm going to get out of here. Y'all be safe.